Good day to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska-Koper, and this episode of Poland Daily Culture is about books, and especially about the unique book, The War of Our Times, about the war in Ukraine and the help of Polish volunteers to the Ukrainian refugees, provided by the foundation Oczami Nieba, through the eyes of heaven. With me in the studio is a journalist, a filmmaker, and the co-author of the book, Michał Owerczuk. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Michał, you are the author of 3 chapters in this book. In the previous episode, we talked a little bit about your chapter about the little big war or little big battle, about the story of 2 Natalias, the Polish Natalia and the Ukrainian Natalia, which found each other because of this war and could help and became families to each other and sort of fight this war on a different level. And but you are also the author of another chapter about the culture and the power of culture. Tell us about both of those chapters.
So, like I said before, I wanted to focus on more than just my hero, the main hero, which is the volunteer or the refugee, particular one. I wanted to go with the broader topic, with the wider theme, and I focused on, in the first one, I focused on the inspiring history of 2 Natalias and the medical help that Poland provided to Ukraine and the healthcare system. But in the second one, I tried to focus on which is on a thing that is really close to me, the constant fighting of propaganda, the Eastern propaganda, especially the Russian one and pro-Russian one, which was a big thing in Ukraine for many years. And the last pro-Russian Ukrainian TV station was closed. I don't know if anybody knows that, but it was closed just a few days before the war started. And the decommunization process the derussification process in Ukraine is gonna take a lot of time in order to make people understand that there are in fact Ukrainians.
But I do think, and we can also see it in the book and through the eyes of our characters and your character as well, is the fact that this war and the atrocities of Russian soldiers and the atrocities of people who speak sometimes the same language as the Ukrainians do, it changed the mindset. Those are people, especially those who came to us, refugees, people who will no longer ever be fooled by the Russian propaganda and their Russian way of portraying the world, because they saw it with their own eyes. And I think also this is the power of this conflict, the
Yes,
good part of it.
And the most important thing about this is, for example, the cultural war and the destroying of the Ukrainian and European heritage in Ukraine by the Russian occupying troops and Russian forces. So, for example, only in Kherson, or I believe I wanted to tell you that I wanted to find that in a chapter to be. I cannot find that in a chapter, but nevertheless, the destroying the thievery and stealing of the Ukrainian national heritage is the biggest crime against the cultural in Europe since the Second World War. You need to understand that Hermann Goering would be proud of Russian soldiers and Vladimir Putin for what he's doing in Ukraine right now.
Absolutely. So this is something which we sometimes oversee because, of course, you cannot focus on so many things all the time. This is actually what we open this book with, is the fact that you cannot be in the first line of the front ever all the time, because it's just impossible for any human being to do it. But just to know the fact is that the Russian soldiers are stealing paintings, destroying libraries.
Like dating since Sarmatia, Scythia, like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago.
Exactly, and
They destroying the roots of they try to destroy the roots of Ukrainian nation.
culture and nation, doing it through the culture and through the stealing it, which is absolutely horrible, and the level of the atrocities about it is unimaginable, and something which the Ukrainians will have to, they will not rebuild it even for generations. We have to say it. It just, we can help those few individuals which we are helping right now in the shelter, but the amount of rebuilding the country and the nation, and it will take another 50 years.
That's why I start with the kids play in kids theater, the Bad Neighbors, the theater play that been wrote and directed by Marina Bohomas, the famous Ukrainian theater director. She actually is starting to educate the youngest. So you need to understand that when the war started in 2014, it's, oh my God, like 9 years already. There are many kids that were born during the war with Russia. They were born and raised during the war, and many years from now, they're gonna be a whole new generation born, raised, and towards the hatred towards the Russian Federation. Completely different times we're gonna have. That's
Absolutely.
For sure.
And
not only towards the Russian Federation.
It's hard to understand all of the complexity about it, but we start to portray partly this in the book, The War of Our Times. So the viewers of Poland Daily, we very, very strongly encourage for you to read it, and of course leave your comments under this video, and I thank you for watching our show.